Hi everyone and welcome to our Writing Key Skills lesson today. We're going to be doing this over several lessons this week, so get ready.
So here is our success criteria grid for today. Our learning objective is to develop key writing skills. Our success criteria: I can use capital letters and full stops correctly. I can use question marks. I can use exclamation marks. I can form my handwriting neatly and join my letters. I can use the conjunctions or, and, but, when, if, that, and because in my sentences. I can read my writing out loud to identify errors or missing words and punctuation. And our extra ones here for extra points are: I can punctuate direct speech using inverted commas, I can write in paragraphs, and I can use fronted verbials.
Fronted adverbials are quite new to us and we've only just started learning about them in our last unit. Here it explains that fronted adverbials are words or phrases at the beginning of a sentence which are used to describe the action that follows. I've included a collection of time, frequency, place, manner, and possibility fronted adverbials for you to possibly use. They're there to help you, so you can always pause the video here to look back at that before you start your writing. The picture that we're going to be looking at today is called The Detective. And here you can see there is a young boy with an older gentleman sitting in the background. It looks like they might be in a library. The boy has got a magnifying glass, and I'm guessing from the title that he's being a detective and possibly looking for something. So the first question I'd like you to think about the answer for is, have you ever lost something important? Perhaps it was a piece of jewellery, perhaps it was a teddy bear, perhaps it was a favourite item of clothing. It could be anything. Have a little think here and possibly write some notes down of things that you might have lost before, anything important. If you haven't lost anything, think about something you would hate to lose. Pause the video here to take some notes. Our second question, how did it feel when you couldn't find it? So thinking about how you might feel if you lost something that was very important to you, what kind of feelings and emotions would you have from having lost it? Would you be sad, angry, upset, distraught? Have a little think here about some of the words you might be able to use to describe your feelings at this point. Pause the video and write your notes. The third question that we have is, what's the best thing to do if you lose something? Do you have any top tips of what you can do to find it? Do you think about the last place you were when you had it? Could you enlist a friend to help you find it? Does your mum always know how to find things that you lose? The next question is, what about if it doesn't belong to you? What if you lose something you were borrowing from someone else? How do you feel at that point? Do you feel very responsible for it? Pause the video here and take some notes to answer these questions. The next question I'd like you to consider is, what do you think the missing object in the story is? What do you think this little boy is missing? And what do you think he's looking for? Is his dad concerned in the background? Is it perhaps his dad's item? Is that even his dad? Is it an uncle? Who knows? Pause the video here and have a think about what you might like to answer this question with. This next question gives you a little clue about what might actually be happening in the story. It says, who are the mysterious visitors and what do they want with Adam? Have a think about what kinds of mysterious visitors might be visiting these two characters in the picture here. Pause the video here to take your notes. The last question is, what do you think will happen to him if he doesn't find the item? Is he going to be in enormous trouble? Will it matter? Will he be able?
We're now ready to begin our writing. The first question that I'm looking at is, have you ever lost something important? And I've begun my writing by writing the title at the top, The Young Detective. Last month I lost something extremely important to me. Early one morning I took a walk across some frosty fields. I was dressed from head to toe in layers of warm clothing, as it was a particularly cold day. I wore my hat, scarf and gloves. Courageously, Isla explored the area and enjoyed running between the trees at the edge of the field. As quick as a flash, Isla spotted a rabbit running in the distance. Hoping to make friends, she gallivanted off to say, "Hello, it's wonderful to meet you." I considered for a moment that the rabbit was unlikely wishing to greet Isla with the same enthusiasm, so I quickly called her back so that I could put her back on her lead. The lead was awkward to clip with gloves on, so I took them off to get a better grip. Unfortunately, this is where I now imagine I lost my ring. How did it feel when you couldn't find it? We finished our walk without me realizing what had happened until we'd reached the car. My heart suddenly jumped and we immediately went back to the place I'd stopped previously. I looked everywhere, but the frost was thick and it made the task impossible. Disappointingly, we returned to the car and went home without the ring. What's the best thing to do if you lose something? The best thing to do when you lose something is to remain calm. There is no point in becoming upset, as it makes it much harder to concentrate on the task in finding it. You can always ask for help if you have a problem. What about if it doesn't belong to you? If you lose something that doesn't belong to you, you might feel like you've let someone else down. Though accidents can happen, you will likely still feel very responsible for the mistake and sorry for not being able to take better care of something. What do you think the missing object in the story is? The missing object in the story is a pocket watch, which had been given to the little boy by his grandfather. The pocket watch was very special to the boy and held great sentimental value. The watch was gold and kept the time perfectly. It had a black clock face and exquisite detailing on the outside. Who are the mysterious visitors and what do they want with Adam? Adam is visited by a team from the Antiques Roadshow television show. The presenter wanted to film an episode all about Adam's special pocket watch. Downstairs, the film crew waited for Adam to return. What do you think will happen to him if he doesn't find the item? Nervously, Adam looked everywhere he could for his grandfather's pocket watch. He worried about what might happen to him if he couldn't find it. Would he be told off by the BBC presenter? Would he be grounded for the next year? Would his grandfather forgive him? So now that you have been checking your work as you go with the symbols that we discussed at the start of the lesson, you will now need to complete your success criteria grid. I want you to be as honest as possible and make sure you keep referring back to your writing to check that you actually do have all of those features. There is no point in ticking the boxes if you haven't got them. But if you haven't got a feature in your writing, you can always go back to try and include something. So for example here, I managed to tick most things until I got down to the conjunctions. In my writing, I had included and, but, if and that in my sentences, but I haven't yet included or, when, or because. I did realise there was a place that I could actually position when, so I went back into my writing and I've added it in my green pen just so that I can see where I've edited it. There are still some other words I'd like to include, but for today my writing is complete. Tomorrow my challenge is going to be to make sure I first focus on using or and because in my sentences. Pause the video here to complete your writing for today.